Back to Charlotte. There is a spring, and come on over. There is another piece. The mystery.
Trust me, we will get to the bottom of this.
Now, right now, every race team in the garage area is looking on TV to see what kind of Wrangler spring they have in that 22 car.
What do you see, Matt?
I see a lot of NASCAR officials down here just taking a look underneath the back of the 22 car. And you know something is definitely amiss when you walk in and everybody looks at you like deer-caught headlights, like, you guys saw that on TV. I talked to Todd Gordon, and he said simply what happened was you guys touched on it. They forgot to take the strut out of the spring, so when he went on the racetrack, there you go.
There you your trouble.
Yeah, we've seen some crazy things come off of these race cars this year, from steering wheels, now springs.
When you're doing crazy things, you're going to see crazy things.
That's true,
But let's look at another couple of anomalies here. 38 cars have been out on track. 2 of them ran 2 laps. Everybody ran 1 lap except 5 laps for Clint Bowyer, 9 laps for Ryan Scott, and 14 laps for Kyle Busch. Definitely a contrary.
Well, and I'll go back to what was talked about with Kyle Busch, with Matt, saying how he wanted to go out there and sort of just get into a rhythm. I like that too. When I was a driver, I like going out, get a feel for the track, run a few laps, because in a qualifying run, I'm going all out. I'm going to be super aggressive. I'm throwing it into the corner as hard as I possibly can, and I need to know what the grip level is. So that's why I like to get out there and just get a sense of it before we just go straight into qualifying trim.
I think sending Kyle out and letting him run all those laps, that he gets information from the other 3 teams that they don't have to go out and do the same thing. So he's kind of the rabbit, if you will. And he likes to run a lot of laps, so let him go run, and then we'll download and see what kind of information we can gain for the other guys.
Now, one thing I will say about these conditions, if you go to the time that this race is going to start, it is going to be much later than this, but it is going to be slick. It is going to be, the track tip is going to be up higher than what it will be later in the race. So you might be able to take a little bit of that balance and grip level and learn a tiny bit at this time of day.
Yeah, and just remember, Mike, I mean, it's not like we've never had these conditions before.
Right.
I mean, these teams, these crew chiefs, they've got trends. Larry knows about trends. They come over here, they say, know what the track tip is. They know what the car's going to do. And so they're not shooting in the dark. They have a pretty good idea about what to expect.
Well, what I always liked, if we were going to have a practice at this time of day, which is pretty common, like you said, this is nothing new to the garage area. But I liked if there's just a little bit of overcast that brought that track tip down just a little bit more. What it's going to be like at 6 p.m. the start of this race. A little side-by-side action here between the 44 and the 32.
Well, I think that was because of what happened 1 lap ago when Jeffrey Earnhardt went down in turn 1 and almost climbed the billboard, and Ryan Scott saw a safe way by to the inside.
Not a lot of grip out there right now. These drivers have their hands full.
I tell you, I have been so impressed with the job, not only that Ryan Blaney has done, but this 21 team to get themselves out. And this car is competitive every week. They've been up front, they've led laps, they've been in the top 10, and I just think it's a great job by this whole organization to get this team up and running every race like they're doing when they haven't been accustomed to doing that.
Yes, especially when you consider it's been 9 years since they ran the full season. That's true.
Well, I like the job that they're doing, and I like the job this kid is doing. Ryan Blaney in that all-star race the other day, they had a penalty, had to go to the back. Watching him drive through there, hang in the back of that car out, driving it sideways, trying to get back up to the front was a lot of fun to watch.
Yep.
I think we're going to find that he is all his dad and then some.
Oh, I think you're right about that. I don't think we're getting all that big a surprise. We kind of knew what we were going to get.
When I raced with Dave Blaney, his father, in sprint cars, and I thought he was one of the best sprint car drivers I ever raced against. I think what held him back was he didn't get the stock car soon enough. And there's definitely a big difference between a stock car and a sprint car. But Ryan, he got into this type of race at a very young age, and I think his talent, skill, and experience in these types of cars is really showing, even though it's at a young age.
Yeah, I think his dad probably said, look, I don't want you to make the same mistake I made. I don't want you to waste a bunch of your productive years doing something else. Let's get in these cars and get after it.
I wouldn't be that harsh, because Dave Blaney grew up in Ohio, the son of a sprint car driver, his dad Lou. That was the path for drivers in Ohio. It was, quarter midgets, and then mini sprints, and then midgets and sprint cars, and maybe, dare I say it, Indianapolis. That was the path. You grew up in Indianapolis.
It was, and hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with being a full-time sprint car driver in the Outlaw All-Star Series. It's a great career. It's a lot of fun. Some of the best racing out there. It's just whether or not you want that to lead to stock cars, Indy cars, any other form of racing if you aspire to that.
Yeah, that was my aspiration until I flipped out the park over at South City. But I like cars with roofs after that.